Don't ignore this, a secret letter from your soulmate has arrived for you. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. The story begins on a quiet evening when the world seems unusually still. The day's noise has finally faded, the sky is painted with the last colors of sunset, and a gentle breeze moves through the trees outside your window. Everything feels ordinary until you notice an envelope resting near your front door. There is no stamp, no return address, and no indication of who left it there. The paper is slightly aged, as though it has traveled a long journey before arriving at this exact moment. Curiosity replaces routine. You pick up the envelope, turning it over carefully in your hands. Across the front, written in elegant handwriting, are just a few words: "Please read this with an open heart." Those simple words are enough to make you pause. There is something strangely comforting about them. Not because they promise extraordinary secrets, but because they invite something people rarely allow themselves anymore: a quiet moment of reflection. Somewhere else, your imagined soulmate sits beneath the warm glow of a small lamp, thinking about all the conversations they never had the courage to begin. They remember moments when gratitude remained unspoken, when apologies stayed trapped behind pride, and when kindness was postponed because tomorrow always seemed guaranteed. Looking back now, they understand how easily life teaches people to become busy while quietly distracting them from what matters most. They realize that the strongest relationships are rarely built through dramatic events. Instead, they grow through everyday acts of patience, honesty, consistency, and genuine care. That understanding becomes the true reason for the letter. It is not meant to reveal hidden mysteries. It is meant to remind someone that meaningful words should never remain locked inside the heart for too long. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. With careful hands you open the envelope and unfold the first page. The paper carries only a few handwritten sentences, yet every word feels thoughtful and deliberate. If these words have found their way to you, let them remind you of something easy to forget. The people who change our lives are not always those who say the most. Often they are the ones who quietly remain present through ordinary days. Never assume they already know how much they matter. Tell them while you still can. You pause after reading the final sentence. It doesn't predict the future. It doesn't ask you to believe anything impossible. Instead, it gently encourages gratitude, honesty, and appreciation. As you continue reading, memories begin returning one after another. You think about people who encouraged you during difficult seasons without asking for recognition. You remember conversations that made you smile long after they ended, unexpected acts of kindness from strangers, and moments when someone simply listened without trying to solve every problem. Those memories remind you that life's greatest treasures are often hidden inside ordinary experiences that seem unremarkable until enough time has passed. Across the room, your imagined soulmate reflects on similar memories. They understand now that waiting for perfect timing often means allowing meaningful opportunities to disappear unnoticed. They wish they had thanked certain people sooner. They wish they had apologized before misunderstandings became larger than they ever needed to be. Most of all, they wish they had trusted that sincerity matters more than perfectly chosen words. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. As you continue turning the page, another paragraph encourages you to slow down and notice the beauty hidden inside ordinary routines. It speaks about sharing meals without distractions, listening carefully when someone tells you about their day, celebrating another person's success without comparison, and choosing patience when misunderstandings arise. While reflecting on those ideas, you happen to glance at a nearby clock displaying 11:11. Earlier that afternoon you noticed 222 printed at the bottom of a receipt, and during a walk you saw 444 on the number above a doorway. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and become more mindful. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for reflection, they can encourage us to ask simple questions. Am I showing appreciation often enough? Am I listening before judging? Am I becoming the person I hope to be? Those questions become far more valuable than searching for certainty about tomorrow because they focus attention on the choices available today. The letter continues by explaining that meaningful relationships are strengthened not through extraordinary declarations but through everyday reliability. A kept promise. A sincere apology. A thoughtful message sent without waiting for a special occasion. A kind word offered to someone carrying an invisible burden. Slowly you begin to realize that every sentence inside the letter points toward the same timeless lesson: love is expressed most clearly through consistent actions rather than impressive speeches. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Just as you believe you have reached the end of the letter, something unexpected happens. A second folded page quietly slips from inside the envelope and falls onto the table. Unlike the first page, this one is sealed with a small piece of deep blue wax. Across the front, written in the same careful handwriting, are 7 intriguing words: "Read this only when your heart feels ready." You hold the sealed page in your hands, wondering why it was hidden until now. Whatever waits inside seems different from everything you have already read. It feels less like a letter and more like an invitation. An invitation to look beyond old assumptions, to value the people who have quietly shaped your life, and to discover one final message that has been waiting patiently for the right moment to be opened. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created to encourage reflection and meaningful conversations. It is not a claim that a real letter has arrived or that someone is secretly communicating with you. With gentle hands, you turn the sealed page over, tracing your fingers across the smooth blue wax before carefully breaking the seal. The paper unfolds slowly, revealing handwriting even more elegant than before. Unlike the first page, which offered quiet reminders about gratitude and kindness, this one feels deeply personal. At the top of the page, a single sentence captures your attention. The greatest words are often the ones we never find the courage to say. You pause for a moment, allowing the meaning to settle. How many people carry appreciation they never express? How many apologies remain unspoken because pride seems easier than vulnerability? How many friendships quietly fade because both people assume the other should speak first? The letter does not offer easy answers. Instead, it gently invites you to reflect on your own life. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate is doing exactly the same thing. They sit beside a rain-covered window with a notebook resting on their lap, reading through pages they wrote years earlier but never shared with anyone. Every sentence reminds them of opportunities that slipped away, not because love or friendship were absent, but because fear convinced them that waiting was safer than honesty. Looking back now, they understand that silence often creates far more distance than imperfect words ever could. They whisper quietly to themselves, "If I had simply spoken from the heart, perhaps I would have carried fewer regrets." That thought becomes the beginning of a new chapter in their life. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. As you continue reading, the letter tells the story of an old bridge crossing a peaceful river. Thousands of people walked across it every year, yet very few stopped halfway to admire the flowing water beneath them. Most hurried toward their next destination, believing that happiness waited somewhere further ahead. One elderly traveler, however, crossed the bridge differently. Every morning they paused in the middle, took a slow breath, smiled at the sunrise reflected on the water, and quietly whispered 3 words, "Thank you, today." When someone finally asked why they repeated the same simple ritual each morning, they answered, "Because life changes quietly. If I only appreciate it after it has passed, I have waited too long." The letter explains that relationships often follow the same pattern. We become so focused on future plans, unfinished tasks, and distant goals that we overlook the people walking beside us in the present. We assume there will always be another chance to say thank you, another opportunity to forgive, another day to make time for someone we care about. Yet the most meaningful moments rarely announce themselves in advance. They arrive disguised as ordinary conversations, shared laughter, thoughtful gestures, and quiet evenings that seem unremarkable until years later when memory transforms them into treasures. The letter gently encourages slowing down enough to notice those moments before they quietly become the past. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. As you reach the middle of the page, another reflection catches your eye. It speaks about the power of forgiveness. Not because every hurt should be forgotten, nor because every relationship can or should return to what it once was, but because carrying bitterness often becomes heavier than releasing it. Forgiveness, the letter explains, does not always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it simply means choosing not to let yesterday's pain decide tomorrow's peace. Those words linger in your thoughts. You remember conversations that ended too abruptly, misunderstandings that grew because neither person wanted to take the first step, and moments when simple honesty might have prevented years of distance. At that very moment, your imagined soulmate notices 11:11 glowing softly on a nearby clock. Earlier in the day, they happened to receive receipt number 222, and during an evening walk they smiled after seeing 444 on the side of an old building. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, they choose to let each appearance ask a simple question: am I becoming the kind of person whose actions reflect kindness, patience, and integrity? Rather than searching those moments for predictions about the future, they allow them to inspire thoughtful choices today. They decide to send a message of appreciation to a lifelong friend, thank a mentor who quietly changed their path, and apologize for a misunderstanding they once believed was too old to revisit. Each small action feels less like correcting the past and more like honoring the present. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Near the bottom of the page, the handwriting suddenly changes. The letters become slightly larger, as though whoever wrote them wanted these final lines to be remembered above all else. If you are waiting for certainty before choosing kindness, you may wait forever. If you are waiting for the perfect words before expressing gratitude, you may never speak them. Begin today. Begin simply. Begin honestly. You read those sentences twice, then a third time. They seem wonderfully uncomplicated, yet they carry remarkable wisdom. Life rarely asks for perfection. More often, it asks for presence. A sincere conversation. A thoughtful question. A promise kept. A patient response during disagreement. A willingness to listen before judging. Those ordinary choices quietly shape relationships far more than grand gestures performed only once. You carefully fold the second page and return it to the envelope, believing the letter has finally shared everything it intended to say. But as you slide the papers back inside, your fingers brush against something unexpected hidden within the lining. Curious, you look closer and discover a tiny folded note tucked into a secret pocket you had not noticed before. Written across the outside are just 6 quiet words: one final page remains. Open carefully. Your heartbeat quickens as you hold the hidden note between your fingers, wondering what message could possibly be important enough to remain concealed until now. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created to encourage reflection, hope, and meaningful conversations. It is not a claim that a real letter has arrived or that someone is secretly communicating with you. You hold the tiny folded note carefully, noticing that it feels different from the other pages. The paper is softer, almost as though it has been opened and folded many times before. Slowly, you unfold it. Unlike the earlier pages filled with flowing paragraphs, this one contains only a handful of carefully written sentences. At the top, in graceful handwriting, you read, "If you have reached this page, you have already discovered the greatest secret. The future becomes brighter when the present is lived with honesty." You pause, reading the words again. They do not promise miraculous events or reveal hidden destinies. Instead, they gently redirect your attention to something far more powerful: the choices you make every day. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate is reading those same words beneath the quiet glow of a bedside lamp. They close their eyes for a moment and think about all the years they spent believing happiness would finally arrive after one more achievement, one more conversation, one more perfect opportunity. Looking back now, they realize life had quietly been offering meaningful moments all along. They simply had not slowed down enough to notice them. They smile gently, understanding that gratitude does not begin after life becomes perfect. Gratitude begins the moment we recognize that ordinary days are already filled with extraordinary opportunities to love, encourage, forgive, and grow. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. As you continue reading, the letter shares the story of an old gardener who spent decades planting trees whose full shade he knew he might never enjoy. Every spring he carefully watered young saplings, removed weeds, and protected delicate branches from strong winds. When someone asked why he devoted so much effort to trees that future generations would benefit from more than he would, the gardener quietly replied, "Someone planted the trees beneath which I rested when I was young. This is simply my turn to leave something beautiful behind." The letter explains that meaningful relationships grow in much the same way. Every encouraging conversation, every patient response during disagreement, every sincere apology, every promise kept, and every thoughtful act of generosity becomes a seed planted into another person's life. Some of those seeds blossom quickly. Others may take years before their full impact becomes visible. Yet kindness is never wasted. Honest words spoken with compassion often continue echoing through another person's life long after the conversation itself has ended. That is why the letter encourages choosing words carefully, not because perfection is expected, but because every conversation carries the possibility of leaving someone stronger, calmer, or more hopeful than before. Your imagined soulmate reflects on this deeply. They remember teachers who believed in them before they believed in themselves, friends who quietly stayed during difficult seasons without asking for recognition, and family members who expressed love through dependable actions rather than dramatic speeches. Those memories remind them that true affection is rarely loud. More often, it is quietly dependable. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. As the afternoon sunlight moves gently across the room, your eyes drift toward the digital clock, where 11:11 happens to appear. Earlier in the day, you noticed 222 on a parking ticket, and during your evening walk you smiled after seeing 444 displayed above the entrance to an old library. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect on what truly matters. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, the letter suggests using such moments to ask yourself quiet questions. Have I encouraged someone today? Have I expressed appreciation while I still had the chance? Have my actions reflected the values I hope others remember? Rather than searching those moments for certainty about tomorrow, you begin seeing them as invitations to become more present today. Inspired by the letter, your imagined soulmate decides to write 3 messages before the evening ends. The first thanks an old friend whose steady support was never fully acknowledged. The second offers a sincere apology for a misunderstanding that had lingered far too long. The third simply tells a family member, "I'm grateful you're part of my life." None of the messages are lengthy. None are dramatic. Yet each one carries genuine sincerity, and that sincerity quietly begins transforming not only those relationships but also the heart of the person sending them. They realize that honesty shared with kindness often creates peace long before it changes circumstances. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Near the bottom of the final page, the handwriting becomes larger once again, as though the writer wanted these closing words to remain in your memory forever. Do not measure your life only by the dreams you achieved. Measure it also by the kindness you offered, the promises you kept, the people you encouraged, the forgiveness you extended, and the gratitude you expressed before it became too late. You slowly lower the page, allowing the message to settle in your heart. The envelope no longer feels mysterious. It feels familiar, almost like a conversation with the wiser part of yourself that had been waiting patiently beneath everyday distractions. As you prepare to place every page back inside, your fingers notice something unexpected beneath the inner flap of the envelope. A tiny card, no larger than a bookmark, slides gently into your hand. Across its front are 8 simple words written in the same elegant handwriting. The story ends when you choose what comes next. You turn the card over, wondering what final message awaits on the other side, knowing that whatever it says will ask for only one thing, not belief in extraordinary promises, but the quiet courage to carry compassion, honesty, gratitude, and hope into the ordinary moments that begin the very next morning. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Imagine this as an emotional, inspirational story created to encourage reflection, hope, and meaningful conversations. It is not a claim that a real letter has arrived or that someone is secretly communicating with you. You slowly turn the small card over, expecting one final mystery to be revealed. Instead, you find a blank page except for a single handwritten sentence resting quietly in the center. The rest of this letter can only be written by the way you choose to live. You read those words once, then again, letting their simplicity sink in. At first they seem almost too ordinary after everything you have just read. There is no hidden prophecy, no dramatic prediction, and no promise that tomorrow will unfold exactly as you hope. Yet the more you reflect, the more you realize that this final sentence carries the greatest message of all. The letter was never asking you to wait for life to change on its own. It was gently inviting you to become the kind of person who helps create a better tomorrow through today's choices. Somewhere in this imagined story, your soulmate reaches the final page at exactly the same moment. They smile quietly, fold every sheet with care, and place the letter back into its envelope. For the first time in years, they stop searching for perfect certainty and begin embracing purposeful living. They understand that the most meaningful relationships are not built by extraordinary promises made once. They are built by ordinary acts of kindness repeated consistently across weeks, months, and years. They decide that regardless of what the future holds, they will become someone who listens with patience, speaks with honesty, forgives without keeping score, and appreciates people before time quietly carries those opportunities away. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. The next morning arrives with gentle sunlight streaming through the window. Instead of reaching immediately for distractions, you sit quietly for a few moments, thinking about the pages you have just read. You realize that the letter has changed something subtle but important. It has not changed the world around you overnight, but it has changed the way you choose to look at it. As you step outside, familiar places somehow feel different. The neighbor you usually pass with only a brief nod now receives a genuine smile and warm greeting. The cashier at a nearby shop hears a heartfelt, "Thank you," instead of hurried silence. You send a message to someone who has quietly supported you through difficult seasons, not because a special occasion requires it, but simply because gratitude should never be postponed. These small choices may appear insignificant, yet they begin creating gentle ripples that reach far beyond what you can immediately see. Encouragement has a way of traveling from one heart to another. A single kind conversation can brighten someone's entire day, and that person may unknowingly pass the same kindness forward. Little by little, you begin to understand that meaningful change often starts with moments so ordinary that many people overlook them completely. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Later that afternoon, you happen to notice 11:11 on a clock. During an errand, the receipt number ends with 222, and while walking home you spot 444 on an old doorway you have passed countless times before. Many people enjoy treating repeating numbers like these as reminders to pause, breathe, and reflect. Whether viewed as meaningful coincidences or simply personal prompts for mindfulness, they become quiet invitations to ask yourself thoughtful questions. Have I shown patience today? Have I encouraged someone who needed hope? Have I expressed appreciation while I still had the opportunity? Rather than seeing these moments as predictions about what tomorrow might bring, you choose to let them gently refocus your attention on today's actions. Every reminder encourages another thoughtful choice. You decide to spend less time comparing your journey with someone else's and more time celebrating the progress you have already made. You choose to replace assumptions with honest conversations, resentment with understanding where possible, and unnecessary hurry with moments of genuine presence. Your imagined soulmate is making similar choices in their own story. They reconnect with an old friend simply to ask how life has been. They volunteer to help someone expecting nothing in return. They keep promises they once would have forgotten. They learn that trust is not built through dramatic speeches but through reliability demonstrated one ordinary day after another. Slowly, they become the person they once hoped to meet. Don't scroll. Listen carefully. This message is for you. Your heart needs to hear this right now. Weeks pass, and the envelope remains safely tucked inside a favorite book. Occasionally you take it out, rereading certain passages whenever life feels especially busy or uncertain. Each visit reveals something you had not noticed before. One day the message about gratitude speaks most clearly. Another day it is the reminder about forgiveness. Sometimes the words about honest communication stay with you for hours after reading them. You realize that wisdom often works this way. The same sentence can carry new meaning depending on the season of life in which it is read. Eventually you stop thinking of the envelope as a mysterious letter. Instead, it becomes a symbol of intentional living, a reminder that every morning presents another blank page waiting to be filled with thoughtful actions. Before long, you notice that your imagined soulmate has reached the same conclusion. They no longer wonder whether the letter changed fate. They understand that its greatest gift was something much more practical and lasting. It encouraged them to become someone whose daily actions reflected compassion, integrity, humility, and hope. That transformation quietly influenced every relationship around them. Friends felt more appreciated. Family conversations became more open. Small misunderstandings were resolved before they grew into lasting divisions. Peace did not arrive because life suddenly became perfect. It grew because people consistently chose understanding over assumption, gratitude over neglect, and courage over silence. As this story gently comes to its close, perhaps the final message is beautifully simple. The greatest secret letter is not one hidden inside an envelope. It is the message written through the choices we make each day. Every kind word becomes another sentence. Every promise kept becomes another paragraph. Every act of forgiveness becomes another chapter. Every expression of gratitude adds another page. Long after paper fades and ink disappears, those choices continue telling a story that touches countless lives. And perhaps that is the truest ending of all. That the most meaningful message your soulmate could ever leave is not a prediction about tomorrow, but an invitation to live today with honesty, compassion, patience, gratitude, and hope, trusting that a life shaped by those qualities becomes a letter of encouragement that others will remember long after the final page has been turned.